Well, congratulations.
Thank you guys so much.
Do you have a little trophy that they give
I
you?
do. Let
Can we,
me get
can we
it.
see it?
Yes.
Okay, Natty
Uh,
Champ. Do
oh
you
my
want
God, I
me to?
literally love it. I literally I can't stop staring at it. I'm obsessed with it.
I know, you're probably looking at it like, oh my God, that actually happened.
No, literally, I wake up every day and I just start tearing up. I'm like, I cannot believe that. It's so
Yeah.
real.
So what have the last 72 hours of your life been like?
I think they've genuinely been the craziest 72 hours of my life. Oh my gosh, I can't even put into words like the all of the emotions I've been feeling. It's been, oh my gosh, like every positive emotion in the dictionary is like what I'm feeling. It's incredible.
Have you been able to like focus at all or do anything besides think about that moment? Like, have you accomplished anything in the last 3 days or have you just been like reminiscing?
Absolutely nothing. I laid in bed until 5 p.m. the day that we got back, or Monday. I don't even know what day it is.
It's
I'm stuck
Tuesday.
on Saturday. I'm stuck on Saturday with the confetti and the trophy.
Yeah, as you should though, as you should.
Right.
You
But
worked
yeah,
your whole life for that moment, so soak it in.
exactly. Yeah, I laid in bed I think all day Monday. Um and I finally got up and I was like, is this what retirement is like? Do I just I don't have a job yet.
Like
I
now what?
finished my school for the week. Like what is there to do? I was like, I guess I'll do a load of laundry.
That's funny. Have you had a chance to go back and watch the meet yet?
Yes, we actually watched it the day that we got back on Sunday. A few of us stayed at the gym and watched it on the big screen there.
So what was it like for you to watch it back?
Oh my gosh, it was just it was kind of weird because when we were competing, we talked about this all season long. We felt like we were the only team on the floor. Like we forgot other people were competing against us. And
Mhm.
obviously at some points you'll look up and see the score and be like, "Oh yeah, we're competing right now." But we were so in our zone on Saturday that it felt like it was just us. And then when we were rewatching it, I was like, "Oh yeah, there was other routines happening." I'm like, "What happened? When did that happen?" I'm like, "Wait, that happened?" I'm like, "What?" She's just standing full on beam. What the heck? All of this
The
stuff.
things that you miss.
Literally.
But I feel like even for the fans, it's the same way because when you're watching live, our eyes are like split between now it's two routines. It used to be four, but
Oh,
split two
literally.
routines, and then it's like you end up missing so much.
I
You're trying to
also,
pay attention to scores and then who's going, and yeah, I also missed Gabby Preya standing full. Like I didn't realize it until I saw it on Twitter later. I was like, oh, she did that in her routine. Like I must have been watching whatever else was happening.
Really, it's actually insane. No, but it was so bittersweet to watch it back and to just see it all happen again. Oh my gosh, especially watching Beam back.
Hmm.
Wild.
Yes, we'll
Wild.
get there. We'll get there. We'll get there in a
We'll
second.
get there.
First, let's go back in the days leading up to leaving for NCAAs. What was the vibe like for the team? Was there like excitement? Was there nervousness? Like, what was the team's vibe? Because even you work all season for this moment, and then it's like it's finally here.
I honestly can't speak for everyone's how they felt themselves, but the vibe that I got from everybody is and what everyone communicated was no nervousness. Everyone was so casual. We have thrown that word around a lot. Just so much normalcy. We even said competing at the national championship. When we went to bars on Saturday, Kai was like, it feels like we're just in an inner squad at practice right now. And I was like, but we're actually competing at the national championship. And we all, I think, have just placed ourselves there mentally so many times leading up to that moment that when we got to that moment, it was like, we're ready for this. We've mentally been preparing for this and we're just going to do us.
That's good though, that you're like that calm and composed under that kind of pressure. And like basically you could go up in any circumstance and just feel like it's an inner squad. That's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. And we were even talking about it Sunday when we were rewatching the meet. I think Sierra had mentioned were you guys nervous? And we are like, honestly, no. Sometimes I would get shaky for other meets in the past or at national championships in years before. I would feel myself get nervous. But this time I was just more just trying to take it all in and look around and really try to remember every moment since it was my last.
Mhm.
And I was like, I really don't remember feeling any nerves. more just like excitement and just like gratitude.
hmm Did it change anything for you guys at all, knowing that Oklahoma had been knocked out of it? And also tell me about that moment. I want to know, like, for you personally, when you found out, because like the whole gymnastics world was shook when Oklahoma got knocked out of it. Obviously, nobody expected that. But for you guys as a team, does that like affect your mindset at all? Does it make you nervous to know that like that could happen to anybody, or do you really just try not to think about it?
It was absolutely wild. I mean, obviously, no one on my team and no one in the world really expected what happened, but I mean, it does happen. We're all human, and mistakes are bound to be made, and no one can be perfect or close to perfect all the time. Um, it's just unfortunate for them, and I feel for them that it happened at the national championship. But for us, we like, yes, we were shocked, but it didn't change anything for us because we still knew that we had to go into Saturday and get a job done. And, Jay even like pulled us aside and was like, hey guys, yeah, like no one expected this, but it doesn't change anything. Like, we still go in and we do the same thing that we would have done if they were there. Like, it
Mhm.
doesn't matter about the other teams. This isn't an offense defense sport. We do our jobs, and hopefully that job results in the way that we want it to happen, you know?
You kind of just touched on this, but going into the meet, the finals, what was your mindset and the team's mindset? And then what did Jay say to you guys going into the meet?
He always just kind of reiterates the same messages about like 5 minutes in front of your face. We don't need to think about the result if we just stay present in every single moment and stay present with who's up on the event and stay present with the routine that you might be competing. The result will happen. The result is bound to become if you just do your normal. And so we weren't result oriented. We were very process oriented. And I think that we were kind of doing that all season, which attributes to a lot of our success, I think. But yeah, he kind of just kept reiterating that. And he also spreads the message, start fast, finish strong. And so we, try to go start out on floor with a big bang and really set the tone for the meet and set the momentum for where we wanted to end the meet. And again, just stayed present with every single moment.
How did you guys feel about your rotation order, starting on floor, ending on beam? Did you guys like that, or were you just like, we're gonna make the best out of it?
We made the absolute best out of it. We've really, no one, everyone on my team is like incredibly positive and optimistic and very adaptable. And no one is like, oh shoot, like we have to start on floor, like blah blah blah. It's like, no, like we're starting on floor. So we're gonna practice it and practice, and then we're gonna adjust. And there's nothing, if we complain, that's not gonna change anything. That's
Right.
just gonna create a negative mindset and destroy the mental toughness that we've been building all season. So we're gonna accept what is, adjust, adapt, and do our thing. Like, yes, floor is like our best event. We are an insane floor team. But again, that's where we were like, let's set the tone and keep the momentum going.
hmm I think a lot of people feel like Beam is a bad event to end on, but honestly, a lot of the last couple of national championships have been won on Beam. So, like, maybe
Yeah,
this is the new standard going forward. Maybe you want to end on Beam.
I literally think I saw that like on Twitter.
Yeah.
Really after we won the national championship, it was like a compilation of like all the dismounts that like won the national
Yeah.
championship, and I was like, "Dang, that really did happen!" Like it is a like ending on beam, like
Word on the street. If you
one.
finish on Beam, you're winning. You really
Literally, everyone's gonna be praying for that rotation order from now on. That's gonna be the new Olympic order.
right. But it's funny because I feel like otherwise, like, you would not want that. No, like,
No,
I want that
absolutely not.
rotation. But
Yeah,
people
because
in recent years have made the best out of it.
exactly. I think that beam can sometimes be a big make it or break it event. But again, like our beam team was just so strong and so confident going in. It was just like brush it right off our shoulders. We're like, we have to do beam anyway. Like, who cares if we're starting, ending, or middling it? It's like
Yeah.
we're gonna do our job.
See, I kind of felt like this season, vault was the make it or break it event. I always said whoever sticks the most vaults or has like the best vaults is the
Right.
team that wins. So,
Right. Yeah. Honestly, that is a big one. That is
Mhm.
very true. Valid.
So I want to ask about your beam routine in particular. First of all, do we have your permission to joke about the beam routine because the meet went in your guys' favor?
Absolutely.
I'm like,
100%. I was joking
we,
about it immediately.
I'm like, we have to roast you. I'm sorry.
No, literally, please give it to me because I've been roasting myself. I literally like got off and I was like, or like once we won, I like, stayed energy towards my team and like all of that stuff. But after we won, I was like, honestly, that was way better than going out with a 9.85 on beam. Like, I'm glad that the rest of the team like had my back and hit. But that was iconic. Like that was something.
You gotta keep people on their toes. You gotta make things interesting. We love that about
Exactly.
you.
I
It's
just
like,
kept saying, I'm like, I was really trying to test the pressure of the rest of the beam lineup. I wanted to like make
right.
sure they're like on their game.
You wanted to make sure that they were like gonna earn it. You know what I mean? Like you guys were gonna earn it that day.
Exactly. Like who would have known? Like if I would have gone up there and had like a good beam routine or like not done that, then the rest of the beam routines like could have had like less pressure and they might have been like mid. They wouldn't have been.
Mhm.
Like our beam team is absolutely
No.
incredible. But like I just have just been trusting. Like everything happens for a reason and that just made the story that much better.
Yeah, well, the routine itself was like amazing. It was just that one little thing, and I'm like, I was watching you, and you were not flipping, so I was like, okay, I can look away for a second because she's not like doing gymnastics. And then I look back over, and you're like hanging on the bottom of the beam like a sloth, and I'm like, what happened? What did she do?
Literally, that's what everyone was saying. They were like, I looked over to see like the other event and Sav, I looked back and Sav was just dangling from the beam.
Yeah, I'm
And
like,
that's
what
exactly
happened?
what Jay like said. He like looked down to like sip his water and then like heard something and then looked up and I'm like fighting to get back out of the beam. He's like, what the heck happened?
Yeah, I was like texting all of our like group chats, and I'm like, did anyone see what happened? Like, I didn't think she was doing any like gymnastics. I thought like maybe you did a full turn or something, and I missed it, but then you did your full turn right after that, and I'm like, okay, so what did she do? She just like
Right.
fell.
I was like joking with the whole like team too. I'm like, technically we didn't have a single wobble on beam. No wobbles.
No, that's valid. You didn't. There was no
I didn't
wobbles.
wobble.
So like what? Like can you even say like what happened? Did like I mean, does that
That's
happen
crazy.
often? Like freak accidents or like what?
Never. That is literally never happened to me in my life. Okay. I think when I came up, like, I don't know. I literally don't know. Like, I don't know if it was my shoulder or my back that was like a little off centered, and I stood up a little too quickly because it's just like something that I do. It's like the simplest thing in my routine. Like, it's dance. It's part of my choreo that I do 30 times a day and like all
Yeah.
of this stuff. So I like just stood up fast like I normally do, but I guess I was just a little, happened to be a tiny bit off and flew right over. I was like,
Freak
I'm not
accident.
going down though. My feet are not touching this mat.
Yeah. You fought it. So
Gave
respect.
it all I had.
So going into that routine, were you thinking at all about the fact that like this was your last time doing gymnastics, at least
Yeah,
in that type of setting?
I did. Yeah, every event I was like, I really tried not to think about it because I was just again trying to stay so present and not put too much pressure of like this is my last routine. But I did like acknowledge that because I wanted to like soak in the moment and truly like remember everything. So like before like every event, I just like was talking to myself and I'm like, I'm so thankful to be here. Like this is so incredible, like such an amazing opportunity. Just kind of like reminding myself how cool that is and how so many people dream of making it to competing day 2 of nationals, like competing for their team's national championship. And so like I was just trying to like remind myself of how special that was. But like in the back of my head, I was like, this is my last fall. Like, let's go do it. Like, let's have fun. Like, enjoy it. So it was
Yeah.
definitely in like the back of my mind.
Well, especially with how competitive things are, I think things are getting like increasingly more competitive. I feel like you can't take being in the finals for granted. So, like, just being there in that moment with your team, and then also having the possibility, like a real possibility of winning a national championship and having that be your last meet ever. I feel like it couldn't get better than that.
Yeah, 100%. Honestly, I would not have wanted to end any other way. It was just greater than anything I could have imagined, even with my sloth on beam. Like,
It's gonna live on forever.
it will. It really will. It's gonna be a great story.
It's your legacy.
Literally, literally.
So, what was it like watching the rest of your teammates go up after you and bring it home?
Oh my gosh. When I tell you I was like sobbing, like absolutely like ugly crying. I don't think I've ever cried like that in my life. Maybe during like Marley and Me. And I'm like every time I just like vividly remember specifically Kaya's routine. Every single skill she hit, she was so sharp with it. And every time she hit it, I just sobbed even more. I'm like, just like bawling so hard. I'm like, I really hope there's no TVs like screens on me right now because the veins are popping, eyes are bloodshot red. I'm like, I look like I don't even want to know what I looked like. Like,
So you were
But
crying the whole time.
the entire time I couldn't stop. It was like uncontrollable.
But
But it
was
was
a team rally though, because to be able to go up in that pressure situation, a national title is literally on the line. Like this is the moment that you guys have worked your entire lives for, literally. And it hinges on four routines needing to hit. Well, three after. Well, no, because it was Connor, Kaya, Haley, and
Oh yeah, you're
Aaliyah.
right. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so I feel like for the team to hit on beam in that type of pressure is extremely iconic because I feel like beam for you guys this season was kind of like shaky at various points, but as the
right.
season went on, you guys got more and more confidence. And I feel like to end between semifinals and then in finals with that dominant beam performance, just have to shout out the team there because that was absolutely iconic.
I would pass out.
Absolutely.
I don't know how you guys kept it together.
I don't know. I wouldn't be breathing.
Yeah, I am surprised I did not pass out. Like I think I was seeing stars at one point. I think I blacked out at one point, but I above all I cried and hugged everybody. But yeah, no, it's like it's incredible what the rest of that lineup did. Like kudos to them forever. I know that Aaliyah like sealed the deal for us being in that anchor spot, but like kudos to those other three girls because they had a job to do as well. And that was like on them. And if they didn't do their jobs, like even if like whatever, like it was just as much on them as it was on Aaliyah, and that's a ton of pressure at such a high level. And so like especially for like Connor as a freshman competing right after that happened. Um,
Connor's been so clutch.
we talk about it all the time. We just say like your consistency is unreal and we know what we're going to get from you every time you go up, no matter if someone gets a 10 before you or if someone gets an 8.5 before you, like
Yeah.
you stay the same, which is so cool. And she competes so maturely.
Yeah, to see that from a freshman is like
Right.
extremely rare.
Extremely impressive.
So at what point did you guys realize that you had actually done it? Because I had heard that in the arena, like the scores weren't showing. I don't know how true that is, but at what point did you guys actually know for sure that you had done it?
So they took the scores down with about, I think, two routines left on each event, and we like looked up, we're like, what the heck, like where the scores go? But
Was it
we,
an error? Why the heck did they do that?
I think they did it like for suspense, like for the drama, for the plot.
That's
I was
annoying.
like, I was like, this is cruel. Like we're like sitting
Yeah.
there, like sweating, crying, throwing up, like, oh my gosh. But we basically knew like after Aaliyah landed her dismount, like we had like 995 after 995, like
Mm.
insanity. And so we kind of knew that no one else was doing that. And we knew that we were trailing going into the last rotation. But again, we knew that we like exceeded what we like needed to get. Not that any of us necessarily knew like the score that we needed. I
Mhm.
think we just all kind of knew just from how good we did. Like it was amazing, but we were all kind of like celebrating. And then like the coaches kind of knew, but then the scores weren't up. So then Jay came over and was like, "Hey guys, like we don't know yet. It's not official." And so then we all kind of like simmered down a little bit. We're like, okay, you're right. Like the scores aren't up. And then Jay just comes over and just screams, like, yes. And then we all just like go ballistic. And that's when like the score came up and like LSU champions and everything. So, so
Mm.
surreal, so bittersweet.
And what about that moment when they're bringing the trophy over to you guys and you finally get to see it, hold it? What is that like?
Oh my gosh. Like, oh my gosh, like I can't even put it into words. It's just such a dream come true. It makes me start tearing up now. Like it's just everything that like me and like all my teammates have ever worked for in our entire lives. And like I literally don't think I'll ever be able to describe like the emotions that like seeing them bring the trophy over and like us holding it and lifting it up. Like, oh my gosh, that's gonna be a core memory for the rest of my life. Like I don't know how any day could ever top that.
And it's like, not only did you work so hard for that moment, but the entire team. And I feel like LSU, they always say like the best team to have never won.
I
So it's like this entire like it's like a whole narrative that
Yeah, it's
follows
a narrative
LSU. It's followed LSU. And so for you to even be a part of that team that finally brought it home, like in the
so
history books forever.
so special, and it makes it even more special because not only is so everyone on my team like just the most incredible athletes, but they're genuinely, and like I do not say this like genuinely the greatest humans I have like ever encountered, including the coaches and all the staff. It's just it's so amazing to be loved and to love so deeply and to share that moment with those amazing humans. Like it just made it all that much more special.
And it's so crazy too, just like watching you guys through the TV, you can see the connection and the bond that you guys have. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's something that's so different than any other team out there.
I remember we were talking to Jay. We did an interview with him in the preseason. I remember saying like that you guys, you seemed like you were this like, a really special team. And I think gymnastics wise, like obviously you're all incredibly talented. So like gymnastics wise, duh. But I also think it's that there was something about the personalities on the team, the chemistry, just building off of what the team did last season and then adding people in who we also knew had amazing personalities like you. And it just, yeah, I feel like you could just sense that there was something really, really special about this team that in some way this felt like destiny, I feel like. And it sounds weird to say that because all season long we're like, Oklahoma's gonna win because Oklahoma's doing Oklahoma things, but anything
Right.
can happen. And something about this moment did in some way just feel like right. And I don't know if you guys felt that within your team, but I feel like as an outsider,
I had that vibe. I'm pretty sure we even
yeah.
said it on the podcast at one point. I totally believe that you guys could win. Like the talent on the team, the way you guys work together. Like if there was any year that you guys were going to do it, I feel like it would be this year. Like it was just, it felt like everything was aligning for this moment.
Right. 100%. Yeah. I think like just that like gut feeling ever since I stepped foot at LSU and became a part of the team, we just like we just knew, and we talked about it like occasionally, but we would just be like, we just have a feeling like something about this team, like something about this group. There's just something different. Like no one else has ever felt this with a group before, and like we had this gut feeling that this is it, like this is our year. And then for that to actually happen, it's like manifestation matched with hard work and talent, and it just like all came together. It's just like the perfect storybook.
So did you guys go home that night or did you stay in Fort Worth and party?
We stayed in Fort Worth. We all hung out together. We went down to the lobby and hung out with all of our families and friends, and like a bunch of fans came over. So we got to meet a lot of people. Oh my gosh, it was literally such a blast. And then we like went to our team room and took a bunch of pictures with the trophies and everything. And it was honestly like so overwhelming. There were so many people, but it was like just such a cool feeling. And to have that support from like so many fans that have just supported us along the way that we don't even know personally, that aren't in our personal lives, but we feel connected with because they support us like we are family. Like it's so cool to have that. So yeah, we celebrated with them and then came back the next morning.
Okay. And then one of our Patreon supporters, Taryn, she wants to know your favorite moment from the weekend. Obviously winning, but like if you had to pinpoint a certain moment or memory that is just going to live on in your brain forever, what would that be?
I mean, obviously the winning moment, like that is gonna live rent free in my head for the rest of my life. But I think another moment is when we went back to the arena on the first day on Thursday, and Haley and Aaliyah won the national championship for floor and all around. That was just like I felt like such a proud mom, and just watching them and their accomplishments and their hard work pay off, and they are so team oriented and so selfless, and oh my gosh, like just the most incredible freaking humans. And uh, like everything they do is for the team, and they competed not to win those titles but to get us to Saturday, and getting us to Saturday came along with them winning those titles. And so to see them be recognized and be the best in the nation was so special, and I'll definitely remember that.
That's so sweet.
It was so special. It was so amazing.
And by the way, have to shout out Aaliyah for the best floor routine I feel like I've ever seen her do. That floor routine was like unreal. And then
Um,
Haley being Haley, I mean, like, come on, the things that she's done this season.
Haley had a weekend, okay?
she has had a year.
Yeah,
Year,
Like,
yeah.
she has had a career. Like
yeah,
All of the
she's
things.
just had a life. She's had a really great gymnastics life,
yeah.
in terms of her accomplishments, you know? No, oh my gosh, she's not human. Just simply, I watch her in amazement, like, just in practice, I'm like, "When was the last time you fell?" I'm like, "When was the last time you messed up?"
Right. When was the last time you weren't perfect?
Like, what's your secret? What are you eating? I'm gonna come home with you. We're having a sleepover. Like, what are you putting in your coffee? Because I need it. Goat milk, apparently.
Yeah,
Go vote.
that's the key to success, the goat milk.
Absolutely.
So, what's next for you? I mean, I'm sure this is a question you're going to be getting a lot in the coming weeks. When do you graduate and then what's next?
Yeah, so I definitely still have a little bit of wiggle room of deciding kind of what I want to do next because I don't graduate until August. So I'm definitely just going to kind of focus on finishing up this last degree. And there's so many things that I want to do. I want to stay involved in sports. I would love to stay involved in gymnastics, but um, you know what? Like from like coaching to commentating to social media to the NIL space, there's so many things that I'm super like interested in that I could see myself doing. So I think I'm gonna kind of pick a path and stick with that for a little bit, but then maybe dabble with the others and just see where I end up and what I like best.
So many doors are going to open for you,
I'm so
going forward. So we're excited for you.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. So excited for sure.
And we're so proud of you too. Like just to
You.
see this, I don't know, to see your career end this way, like I just don't even have words.
Gosh, thank you guys. So you guys
So
had one of my, I think were my first interview after I transferred to LSU.
yeah. Oh yeah, we got you quick.
A full circle moment, like first interview going to LSU, first interview ending at LSU. Like,
Yeah,
I love it.
love it. Full circle.
Yes, honestly.
Is there anything that you wanted to add that we like didn't ask you about?
Not that I can think of. I mean, I'm just so thankful for like just the positivity and support from the gymternet and like just how optimistic everybody was about LSU and our team and the kind things that they've said. And I know that there's always going to be negativity out there, but it's always outweighed by the positivity. And I honestly believe there's way more positivity, at least on my end, that I've seen. And I'm just super thankful for that. And it's really cool to see how many people I've been able to inspire and touch throughout my collegiate career, and it's just something that I'll forever be thankful for, and I thank you guys for allowing me to have this platform and, like, giving me opportunities like this to continue to share stories and highlight the sport of gymnastics and everything.
Oh,
So
of
thank you guys.
course. Yeah, always, always. You're always welcome on the show. Also, I
Yeah.
thought of one more question. I just thought of this. The hype videos and all the incredible people that you guys had doing the voiceover. What the heck?
Insane. Actually insane. We always watch the hype videos in our team meeting before we would leave for the arenas. Um, And oh my gosh, that is also gonna be another core memory because we all just get so hyped, like we're screaming. I'm surprised we don't have like countless noise complaints that we probably do have noise complaints at every because we're like, yes, like Flage came on and like Justin Jefferson, and we're like literally screaming our like heads off. It
It
was
was so good. I'm not on your team. I was fired up. So was I. I had like chills beforehand. I'm like, oh, here we go.
right. We all had chills and like we would watch it like twice through and like still have the same reaction both times. Like it was the
Mhm.
first time seeing it.
Wait, so did you guys genuinely not know who was doing it? I saw your TikTok where you were like asking everybody who they thought it was going to be, but do you really have like no idea who's doing it?
Really have no idea. It's always a surprise.
Well, that's
Yeah.
fun.
It's so cool. It's honestly like the coolest thing, and I don't know if any other team does it. I don't think I've ever seen any other team do it.
Not
Yeah,
that
it's
I
such a
remember.
unique aspect, and it makes it like so much more special because it's like so many communities are coming in and cheering us on and want to support us, and it's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, you guys are onto something over there at LSU.
Sure, 100%. They know what they're doing. That's for sure.
Well, thank you so, so much for
Yes.
taking the time to come chat with us, and congratulations once again. We're so happy that you got to end your career this way.
Well, thank you guys so much. It means the world. I really appreciate it.
Natty champ for life.
Yes, for life, forever.
Do they give you when you guys like when you were with Florida and you got like second, do they give out those little trophies for second or is it only for first?
Yeah.
So you have a whole collection.
Ooh.
Queen. Look at that.
Yes, I have my little collection right here and some socks right there too.
They're like a happy little family. That's so cute.
Yes, I know. And then I just have like this one like propped up on the NCAA box, like above all. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what it should be, right? It's got to be the
Right.
best one.
Exactly, exactly.